Smash the like button, man. What? Hey, Martinelli, no one can talk to me. I tell man about Nelly. I told man about Madueke like that, and it's only right. I ain't showed you up this banger for time. You learn from the best, man. And hope nobody is going to tell me anything about Gabby Martinelli. I told you, look, big up everyone who stood firm and didn't sell their stocks. But on a serious note, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Big up yourself. It's reaction business. I apologize for not doing the watch along. As Robert said, I did go to TalkSport. When the plug calls, you got to go in it. Re-up before the food's done. If you know, you know. But anyways, smash the like button. Let me know your thoughts. Let's address the elephant in the room. We're back to winning ways. All attention goes on to Wolves. Arsenal 0, Arsenal 3. I'm moving mad. Arsenal 3, Club Brugge 0. We know they changed managers. We know what they did against Barcelona. We know it's the Champions League, but clean sheet, 3 points. I don't know about the Pagans, them. Build up the Chelsea pack. Clean sheet, 3 goals, 3 points. Players got arrested. Players that needed minutes got football. Big up to Marley Salmon, who made his debut. We finally saw Wanyeri getting some minutes. I would love to rest Marino, but it is what it is. Zuba Mendinho, European nights crazy. Martinelli moving mad. Noni Madueke got 2 goals. Big up to him for the second goal. But that first one, yee! If you don't saw my reaction on TalkSport, go and breathe. If Saka done that, we'd be breading. Let's be real. We'll be breading. So we have to bread. End of the day, it's the Champions League. And that's 2 out of 2 for Madueke now. But the main thing is no injuries. Players that need to be rested, getting rest. Players that obviously need minutes, getting minutes. You know, Miles Lewis-Skelly's got 2 games this week. Did well today, obviously. And obviously, we're going to see him against Wolves. I've been calling for Norgaard centre-half. I've been begging for it. Not because I want, but needs must. I think he's got the capabilities. And I think he did well. The only thing he done wrong was get a yellow card. He was actually an attacking threat and quite positive on the ball on top of what a centre-half has to do. You know, football's decided in both ends. We could have scored a lot more. You know, Hincapie's hit the post and had a header. Odegaard forced a chance early doors. There was a couple of other isms and schisms. Madueke could have had a hat-trick. Big up Gabriel Jesus because we got to see some minutes. It'd be nice, though, because whenever Gyökeres comes off the pitch, we start creating some chances that in the second half, there was one moment, that, you know, Saka cash money. If he takes you down the wing, it's a long day. Saka, Black Iron Robin can do madness, but he got the ball now and he's put it on his left and he's aiming for the back post. They're the chances we need for Gyökeres. I see social media. Oh my God, Jesus has done more in X amount of minutes than Gyökeres. We need everybody. You know, Gyökeres will be the hero like he was against Atletico Madrid. We need to create some chances for the guy. You know, we know what we're going to get. 9 times out of 10, we're going to play a team that wants to be defensively solid. Obviously, I'm not watching Club Brugge week in, week out. I'm not going to sit here and act like some expert, but they've changed their managers. I think we actually played their second or third choice goalie today. You know, they want to get 3 points. So, yeah, man, it's also lovely to get 6 wins from 6. We sit at the top of the Champions League. Obviously, against Pafos, I'd actually love to see Wanyeri start. I actually think I have to hail up Miles Lewis-Skelly before I forget. Big up Miles Lewis-Skelly. Lovely to see Ben White looking fitter and sharper with every minute that passes. The best thing is that for once, Rice and Timber have taken the day off. I bet you they ain't even... I know Timber traveled and Rice didn't. I bet you neither player saw any of the game. They therefore fell asleep and we need them to rest. Now, all attention turns to Wolves. Bar the occasional... couple counter attacks literally in terms of hairy moments. We weren't troubled. We dominated the first half. We dominated the second. Obviously, lovely to start the second half in the vein. We didn't get the early goal and then go and press on and get the third. I think we started the game well. We had the dominance of possession. The majority of the game was played in their half. We had a couple of half chances. Didn't quite have the glee and the quality to open the deadlock. But when we did, Noni, bro, like the shot is one thing, but one man's trying to tackle, you're barging him. The next one is just flying anywhere. You know, I call Saka the Black Iron Robin. You was moving like the Black Iron Robin. If Saka done that, we'd be gassing it and breading and all sorts. So great day at the office, man. Like business as usual. Like there's nothing really more to say in terms of a reaction. Like we did what needed to be done essentially. But let me know your thoughts, people. Who's man of the match? Who was underwhelming? I think Marino looked a bit knackered out there, but I think Marino and Zubimendi, that's a partnership we've seen, did well. I think Odegaard done okay in the first half. Not really one to gas it. If I'm honest with you. Nketiah did what he needed to do. Norgaard the same. Ben White the same. David Raya literally on a couple of occasions was called into action. You did what needed to be done. I wouldn't say Club Brugge were terrible, but we're up here, they were down there. It's business as usual, straight there at the office. As I said, 6 out of 6, 3-point clean sheets. Club Brugge destroyed essentially, and we're not Barcelona. You're not bucking Hansi Flick with some idiot, though high line and oh, Carlos Forbes, he came through at Manchester City and he's a hot shot like that, man. Come out of here with all that stuff, man. I hope everyone's doing well and safe. I think I hope you lot are, but the players are doing well and safe. I will speak for every Arsenal fan. We don't need no more injuries in it. And as I said, for me, the players that needed rested got rested. The players that needed minutes would have got minutes. Would have loved to have seen Wanyeri start, but realistically, in terms of a mixture of things, that Arteta wants to be competitive, respecting the side, the best team to go out there and get 3 points. Zubimendi, I'd love for you to get rested, but you knew you were playing. Marino, it is what it is. You knew you were playing. Odegaard, need to inject some minutes and legs into it. Madueke, these are the scenarios we bought you for. So then when we can be a bit cute and clever, Martinelli, screamer. You think my Brazilian players are gonna rub out in a World Cup year? And also shout Gabriel Jesus for, I want to say cameo, but a bit of 20 minutes. He looked good, hit the bar as well. Obviously, he's been out for 11, 12 months. He's in that not weird phase, but he's become one of those players. When you see someone come back and they're in the match day squad and they're on the bench, but they're not getting minutes. He's finally got some. I'm sure he's feeling a bit of aches after that. He's been out for a minute, but good day out at the office, man. Simple day out. Now the attention turns to Wolves because arguably Wolves should be a free hit. I wish, in life you could have a bit more, you could have a lot less in it. Like, we've won a lot of games. One loss in 18. Obviously, a couple of points dropped in the recent games. We can obviously isolate off the top of my head, Aston Villa, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Liverpool away, Manchester City at home. I think we could have won these games in those moments, and we know we can't win them all. But had we have done it, we'd be looking at Wolves as a free hit. Obviously, we want 3 points, but kind of the same 11 you saw today, maybe even more rotation, but it's not that. All attention turns to Wolves. If we don't beat Wolves, I don't know what to say. We know that we're at the top of the Champions League and we're doing what we're doing. We know the Premier League, it ends in May. We need to keep doing what we're doing. Wolves is 3 points. I want what I saw today. I want clean sheets. I want 3 points. I want minutes in the legs. I want a professional performance. So short and sweet, there's nothing to be said. We could have scored more. Other than that, we weren't troubled, man. So simple. Pardon me, simple business. Should be resting Zubimendi and Nketiah. I hear you, and you're not wrong, especially where Zubimendi's concerned. For Nketiah, it's more, the players that have been out in the cold, you're playing a lot of games, these players can get strains and groin strains and hamstrings and things like that. So you are right in that regards, Ryan, man. But Zubimendi, and especially with Zubimendi, but at the end of the day, needs must, innit? Obviously, you could put Zubimendi on the bench and do something else, but realistically, there's no other option. And despite the fact that we've brought in 8 players, we've had bare injuries. Max Down was now injured, and Noose has been injured. Them two started against Brighton, and they're great young players, but had the Kai Havertz's, the Jesus's, the Nonis at the time, and any name I've missed out, they might have played in that. You can never have too many players. I'm going to stand on this, and I'm not going to stop saying this. Nobody can convince me that in an ideal world, Arsenal would not benefit from another 8. There's one at AZ Alkmaar called Smith. Go and bring that. Another 6. Don't know who to bring in, but another 6. Not really a priority, but an 8, a 6. Definitely a left winger. Would have loved to have seen Gyökeres back, but you can't have it all, man. Hit the like button on the way in. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss streams or uploads. Tell them again, man. Noni, again, proving that stupid petition wrong. Bro, again, you know my thoughts on the petition. Even if he was the shittest player in the world, I don't believe in petitions. I think that's sneaky, and I can't speak for Noni Madueke, obviously, at Chelsea. That's them lot's thing. But since Noni's come here, for the external noise, so what I mean by that is if you're not Mikel Arteta, if you're not the players, if you're not the decision makers that obviously sign checks and bring players to the club, there was a lot of noise about Madueke. Even when he signed Eze and Gyökeres, they weren't here, they're on him. So I can't speak for Chelsea, but what I can speak is the build-up in Madueke signing for our football club. When he signed for our club, external factors won. All I've seen is a smile on the man's face. So clearly the manager, the decision makers, that be the teammates, they believe in Donny, the fans at the ground, and I'm sure fans away from home, they're giving my man a lot of praise. And I don't want to exaggerate because, I don't quite think it's this, but I do think Noni started life at Arsenal well relative to our expectations. And then he got injured. We never saw him for a minute. He's picked up where he left off, if I'm honest. Great goal against Bayern. Obviously, two great goals today. Second, first goal, apologies that he scored. It's Arsenal, one of Arsenal's goal of the season contenders. It's right up there. Whoa, to be fair, what screamers have we seen? There's definitely some more, but Zubamendi, West Ham. No, I'm capping. Was it not in the Forest? Either way, Zubamendi scored a great banger. Obviously, my man's bag. There's probably some others that can rise up to the fore, but I'm here for it. And since Noni signed for us, the one thing I've said is I've always maintained I would, and I'll say it again, I wouldn't have bought him. I understand the angle, but I wouldn't have bought him. I think I couldn't tell you who, but the money could have been spent better elsewhere for more game changes. But I've always said, and you lot can quote me, Noni is not as bad as people are making out, going crazy, getting their engagements and things like that. But the one thing I've said, and I'll extend it to Eze as well. Obviously, when Eze was in an Arsenal shirt, we need numbers, bro. Obviously, minutes adjusted. I'm not necessarily expecting Marino to get the same amount of goals as a Kai Havertz or a Gyökeres, but with your Kai Havertz, Marino, Saka, Madueke, Martinelli, Trossard, the list goes on. We need our attackers to get, now they're injured at the moment, and there's been a cluster of injuries, but we need them to either go in purple patches or simply put make the difference. When you look at Noni's numbers, just getting into the box at Chelsea and obviously at Arsenal Football Club, gets into the box, but his goal record isn't it. I'm not expecting it to be amazing, but it's quite crap if I'm honest. So I'm happy that he's getting goals, and the more you get goals, the more confident obviously you start feeling. Noni, bring that out. Bring that, whoever is playing on that right hand side, whether it's Noni Madueke, whether it's Saka, obviously Max Dowman, you do your thing, you're 15. Wanyeri, I think we're not going to see you right wing. Whoever is there, you see when you cut in Lengit, bro. And I like the confidence, bro. End of the day, it's Champions League. Club Brugge, it's Champions League. Noni, my guy, man, non-Zeno records. As I keep saying, it's Noni Madueke that slap that, tap that. Norgaard, stopgap defenders in Prestige. Listen, it worked one when he's under the cosh, but selfishly for Norgaard, if I sit there and I'm Norgaard, in fact, my thoughts, and again, you look, have seen, when I called for Salmon to come on, I'm telling you, he's watching the streams or when man's on TalkSport. I don't want Norgaard to play at centre half, but and I was my thoughts were more Norgaard playing centre half in the Premier League. My thoughts were, when you look at Norgaard, let's address the elephant in the room. It's a needs must thing. We want we want all the other options to play in centre half in their actual positions before Norgaard. And you can make a case of either Norgaard could have started more games or generally come off a bit like Wanyeri, but different. Arteta maybe could have given man a 20 minutes here, 30 minutes here, 10 minutes or 15. Played a lot more on the peripheral, but a lot more prominently than he has already. But where I looked at Norgaard as centre half, as I said, first things first, I don't want to be in this scenario, but it's needs must. Are you good in the air? Yes. Are you experienced? Yes. Do you follow runners? Yes. Are you all those things? You can do something there. So actually, fuck it. If Saliba and these men are not back, Norgaard has to play centre half. And obviously, if you're Norgaard, you joined a new club and you're gas, man, signing for Arsenal. Respectfully to Brentford, I'm signing for Arsenal. The stage I'm at in my career, I might not have got this move. Champions League, League Cup, fighting for the FA Cup. They got bare injuries, so I know I might not start ahead of Rice or Zubamendi or Kyle Marino, but I'm going to get chances. You've been starved of minutes, rightly or wrongly. So you're at that stage. You don't care where you're playing, bro. You don't care if you're centre half, centre mid. Same with Wanyeri. You don't care where you're playing. Different, but Max Down, we don't care where you're playing. Miles Lewis Skelly, Jesus, the same. You don't give a monkeys. You just want to be on the pitch. It's better than holding bench. So, yeah, man. Good day at the office. Saw a couple of players that we may have even forgotten were at the club, got some minutes. Obviously, Salmon made his debut. A couple of players had some encouraging performance or got goals. Nothing to really scream about with Gyökeres, but the one positive for him is more minutes in the legs. As I said at the start, the players that need rest, they've been rested for today. Players that obviously need minutes, they've got minutes. Now, there's a couple of days to Wolves. Hopefully, we do what needs to be done against Wolves. And then from the point of playing Wolves, give or take a week to go into the Everton game. We haven't had a scenario like that since the beginning of the season, barring the international break. And hopefully, by that point, more players are obviously back fit, specifically, Saliba. Now, you never know with Arsenal. But I don't think Rice is injured. You know, Mikel Arteta is talking about he's ill and he's got a cold. It feels like, you know, when the managers tell a bit of a, it's not a white lie, but I can't be bothered to make up a next excuse. Like Rice is just sitting down in it. So it is what it is. You, man, did good. Big up yourself, Yaz, man. I appreciate you, man. Big up you. Since you've obviously been exposed to my content. Big up Rants, because you're always in Rants' streams. And since you've come over from Rants' streams, you've been part of the furniture. So yeah, we did good today, man. Like, end of the day, 6 from 6. I listen, I don't really care about where Arsenal are in terms of favourites for the Champions League. Do I think, you know, my manager and my team can make it difficult across 2 legs or in general? 100%. But a bit like how I feel about the Premier League, it's not to take anything away from Arsenal. We're doing what we needed to do. There's been some highs, there's been a lot more highs than lows, but our dreams of the Premier League and the other trophies are still alive. You don't know me. I want the Champions League above all. It's very different when you're in the latter stages of April, May, and you know, I couldn't tell you specifically, but from end of March all the way to May, there might be a scenario where boom, you're in the semi-finals of a Champions League and a must-win on the Premier League. You know, you're playing on the Saturday, Sunday in the Prem, and Tuesday, Wednesday Champions League. You got to win both games. Everyone might be fit and in form and all those things, or people might be injured and we might be out of sorts. Either way, it's not that we can't sympathize with the context of injuries and things like that. Society don't care, bro. We need to find a way to just win some trophies. So it's very, I would love to, the things we're talking about or how I feel about my club, I hope I'm saying that in the latter ends of the season in 2026, but you can only play what's in front of you, in it. So on to Wolves, in it. I need 6 points this week in all comps. It's as simple as that. Big up yourself. Norgaard was a smart buy for utility depth. I rated it early. I hear it, man. But I do think Norgaard, and it's a double-edged sword, because you have to, a lot of players that are on the peripheral, whether you're getting 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 10 games on the spin, when you get your chance, you have to take it. But we all know that's not realistic. And obviously, I will say this year, when I look at Aston Villa, when I look at Sunderland, when I look at where Arsenal have dropped points, Chelsea, of course, there's external factors. Players are missing, suspensions, the run of games, the fact that you can't win them all of those kind of things in it. And if you're on this platform, we have these balanced discussions. But do me a favor and park that off for just a second, like park that to the corner. With all of that being said, when we've now entered like boom, it's a 90-minute game. I do think there's been more than enough out there to go and win the game. I must admit, where Norgaard's concerned, I thought he would have been exposed a bit earlier. And I guess you haven't had a run of games. He has had some injuries in the beginning of the season. He might not be fully confident. And I've said this about Norgaard before, not isolated to today. I still think Norgaard, maybe not so much now, but I felt since we signed Norgaard, he's been in wow mode. Like, I know Arsenal's a big club, but when you're here, you win, you're the best thing since sliced bread, you lose, it's mad. The way our club kind of is. I've to his minutes, I've expected a bit more for the Norgaard signing from both Norgaard himself and Mikel Arteta, because he's a kind of plug-in player. He's not Jorginho, because one thing Jorginho had is he would kind of do the Norgaard thing, like you would chaperone in games where we need to make rest, be a bit cute and clever, but there were times Jorginho would play big games, like when we beat Liverpool and couple games. No, Jorginho's been a bit of a part, and actually when we signed Declan Rice, there was a point where I genuinely believe Jorginho and Rice was like Rice. Sorry, when we signed Rice, there was a period, yeah, where I genuinely thought Jorginho and Declan Rice were the best pivot, or Jorginho and Declan Rice worked together. Obviously, we had my man that's at Villarreal. We don't need to say his name. That was the best pivot. But yeah, man. But did what we need to do. And the one thing is, you know, yeah, I could talk about points being dropped and obviously injuries playing a factor, but we've been dealing with injuries since August up until this point. As I said, part that stuff off. When you isolate it, I think regardless of injuries and context and players being spent and tired and red zone and things, we could have obviously got 3 points. And the depth has fully been tested early doors. I hope everyone gets fit and everybody remains fit, but I try not to take too much stock in it, just because it's that age-old thing. Just when it looks like 3, 4, 5 players are coming back, obviously, for some reason, there's a next injury. But injuries happen to every team. They're part and parcel. And most importantly, it's now time to focus on Wolves. We enjoy it today. Boys, travel back safe, on to Wolves. Don't care how you do it. 3 points. Respectfully to Wolves, it's unacceptable if you don't get 3 points. Them man are food. You know, football is a weird game and it throws spanners and all these things. But of all the teams we've played up until this point this season, them man are food. Even respectfully to when we played Nottingham Forest and Leeds, we're expected to win 3 points. But you would sit there and think, oh, Forest could do a thing. New manager bounce. Leeds, We know what they're on, home and away. Wolves, respectfully to you lot, when you lot had Cunha and this one and that one, and you weren't fighting relegation, you're great, but you're out of sorts. And I'll be real, I watched the Man United game. That defending is shoddy. Football's decided in both ends. I want my 3 points first, so I'll always take that. But I expect, and you lot never hear me say this, I expect a clean sheet. I expect 3 points. And I very rarely say this. I expect 3+ goals. I expect what I saw today. I don't care who goes out there, but we'll deal with that tomorrow. We enjoy it today, man. And more than anything, bit of confidence for 1-2 players. Jesus, get 1-2 confidence because you're back. You're back after a while. Gyökeres more minutes in the legs. Lovely to see Marley Salmon believing you can make it here and things. Lovely to see Wanyeri and Miles Lewis-Skelly. There was even some cute. I think Miles Lewis-Skelly had a great game, anyways. But there was some cute little passes between them. Obviously, the Nonis, the Martinellis. Not today, but Eze, you want all of these players to start bagging and going through individual good bits of form and collectively tying in, because obviously some attackers have made the difference. But I don't really think it's a 38-game season, and you look at Liverpool did well last season, but you look at some games, Mo Salah just got it through them. That's what a season's about. And I do think there's going to be one of those games where that's going to be a thing. I know it's not the same, but there's a reality. You could stink up the place against Chelsea, bit of brilliance, someone gets you 3 points. Same with Sunderland. Obviously, there's other factors, but you lot are smart enough, old enough to get where I'm going, man. So yeah, smash the like button, subscribe, all of those things. I'm fuming how they started passing to Jesus as soon as he stepped onto the pitch, but started Gyökeres again. Bro, it's annoying, man. Now, obviously, the opposition is tired. The game's gone away from them and things like that. But I've said this before. It feels like for Gyökeres in particular, I think Gyökeres has adapted to what strikers demanded in this Arteta system, but we've not adapted to him. Now, when you see David Ornstein, all them journalists, apparently Arteta bangs on the point of your Gyökeres' teammates need to find him, but it just feels, that when Gyökeres comes off, we create chances that let's just say this. When Gyökeres comes off, it feels like whether Marino's up front, Jesus up front, obviously not a big case study, we create more clear-cut chances that a striker would want, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm capping people, but yeah, Noni is quality when he gets support. Chelsea traded for guard kitters. Bro, it's dark. It's dark. Winning the Champions League group means nothing. I can tell you that for free, getting giddy. Marcel, I don't know what I don't know. It's the fact that Liverpool have been getting their arse slapped like some dirty slappers week in, week out all season. Or the fact that you've got 1-2 wins that you're not making sense. It's a league phase, mate. What? Because Verts won a little pussy old penalty, charity penalty. At least the real brothers dive and that. Like the real brothers dive and leave their legs trailing. Little pussy old pen, like barely touched him, mate. Like, fam, go focus, bro. Go and focus. Walk on for Salah, walk on for Frimpong, walk on for Isaac. The list goes on, bro. I'm not even gonna do that. Marcel, you are the reason I need your team to F up the joint. Noni, man of the match, smash the likes. Yo, DJ, I got my YouTube recap. I'm on your 0.1% of viewers. Keep up the great content, bro. Much love. And let Arsenal win the sixth tuple. I hope we win the sixth tuple. Backy, you're far too kind. 0.1%. Big up you and your loved ones, man. May you win the lottery. And if you're part of them statistics there, big up yourself. Marcel, what's your recap? If I'm not in your top three, I'm on to you. Couple man are losing their mods. So about time we flex 1-2 muscles. Evening, DJ, I'm worried about Gyökeres' form. I'm just worried about Gyökeres in general. Like, I don't think it's a 15, 20 league goals thing. I've been shown that you're just a spare part. You're part of this thing rather than an individual shine out kind of players. But I'm not going to read too much stock into it. And not even just him, even the fact that Noni's obviously been a bit more positive. These men have not been loaded up with minutes. And it's the first half of the season. The annoying thing about Gyökeres, a bit like Noni, but different, is when Gyökeres got that injury, we were finally in that point of Donny starting week in, week out. Me, I'm starting Gyökeres against Wolves because Marino looks knackered. Today, he done his thing. He had a good game. He looks knackered. He was knackered against Villa. That's a not, God forbid, but that it won't shock me if at some point Marino picks up a knock. Zubi the same. Noni Madueke, how have we finally arrived? Told you, man, my boy was cooking something special this season, choking your petitions. Trust me, man. And no, do you know what? Big up the people who doubted Noni, but they didn't, boys and girls, they didn't fix themselves up to do no petition. We don't do that. Any football fan that does that's moist. And where's it going to get you? Whether you rate Noni or not, yeah, do the maths. Whether you rate it or not, Arsenal Football Club have decided to commit 50 million to something. Chelsea have decided to sell. There's numerous. Your petition is not stopping nothing. So you might as well just support. If it flops, oh, I told you so. It's not gonna bang, man. Do that. If it bangs, great. Because as I said, you're allowed to say Noni wasn't the answer. You're allowed to say all of those things, but the petition thing, specifically that's moist. And I would say the same if it happened at any club. And where did it get you? Because you still saw Noni's dreads flying when he's scoring goals for our football team. You know, and we,